Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now.
In this video, I just want to tease you with a new app that I've been working on, but I can't quite release yet. This new app is called dFunk. dFunk does about what it sounds like it might do. It gets the funk out of that computer. Now you'll notice we're at version 7 already. That's because dFunk, well, it might not look familiar to you, but it does have an old face. Malware Scan. As you can see, the old Malware Scan, version 6, in all of its glory. Malware Scan gives you a very small results window, a bunch of stuff over here that doesn't really say or describe what it is, and the file attributes over here with a bunch of tiny little buttons down here that do a lot of obscure sounding things. Some of these buttons work on everything highlighted while others work on everything checked. It's really kind of confusing. And when you first start Malware Scan, there are two options sort of hidden from everywhere else. One is the Find New Files config, which of course is for the Find New Files function, so it knows how many days to compare the age of the file to when showing you results. And there's the operation on partition. That's where you can select what partition you want. This is of course useful in the offline situations where you might be on a tech bench computer with the client drive attached to your machine, or you're booted to a Windows PE environment for repair. So that's about all you get with Malware Scan. You have a bunch of registry locations and a few file system locations, ADS scan, junction scan, my famous out-of-place file scan, but that's a subject for another video. Let me get out of Malware Scan here. Let's show you dFunk. dFunk has a lot of new and improved features. First, we have our operation on partition right here, and a button to make sure that you want to change that, so you're not going to accidentally do it when you're just browsing. We've also got a quick search box where you can search the file system and the registry at the exact same time. Each will put results in its own window, and they're actually separate running processes. So you can continue to use dFunk while this is going on. Of course we have a search web button, but we'll get back to this in a minute. Let me start with our file system inspection. Now our out-of-place files I threw up at the top. We've got Find New Files below that. Find New Files will pop up the window to prompt you for how many days you want to search for in the file age. You can just hit enter right there, and it's going to find some new stuff. I'll just go ahead and click on something, and now you're seeing our selected file attributes window pop up. This is where I've hidden all of the information that I'm gathering on each file that you click on. I have most of the same old buttons down here, but they're larger and easier to click on. And right away at the top you probably noticed that there's a virus total detection count. Yeah, the 0/54 means that 0 of 54 virus scanners on Virus Totals engine detected a threat in this file. So the label is green, which is telling you that the virus total is good, so you know at a glance this is not an issue. If there were any detections, it would appear in red, and of course you can click on the link to take you directly to the web page on virustotal.com that examines this specific file, so you can see exactly which scanners flagged it and which did not. We have signed with a date, hidden of course, the usual amount of data, and you'll also notice that this is an executable file, so buttons like is DLL loaded aren't going to be available, and buttons like create IFEO are, whereas this button wouldn't be available if it were a DLL and this one would, or if it were any other file type, neither of these buttons would be enabled. So hopefully that's going to take some of the confusion out of dFunk that existed in Malware Scan. Another thing that will help that within this window is just noting that all of the buttons in this window act on this individual item. whereas the selected item buttons, which operate on every checked item in this list, are of course on this page with the list. You can actually leave the selected file attributes window open and continue working if you need to, or you can close it, but it will come back if you click on a new file with a new set of details for that file. Another thing you'll notice, I did mention, I'd come back to this later, every time I click on a file here, that file is populated in the search file/registry field or search web field, depending on which button you use. So I can now launch a search for all instances of this file name in the registry and on the file system based on what I've seen here, or do my web research. But that's not all you can do with this window. I also have a new filter results option. The filter results option is going to allow you to narrow down exactly what you're looking for. Let's just say I'm only looking for executable files. I can type in exe and click filter results, and immediately I have only the results with exe in them. Now the thing to note here is this filter results is actually going to work on not just the name, but it'll work on any string in the path and any string in the date, any string in a description field, a shortcut name. It's going to search any field that appears in this list box for that data and show you the results. So the search is pretty powerful. Moving on down the line, we have temp directory files, then we have your Windows directory files, your task scheduler, but we've got the typical stuff here, but we've got a new category, directories to clean up. In directories to clean up, you can see I've got drive root. This is actually showing you every directory and every file in the root of the OS partition. Now, much like your Windows and System32 and System32 drivers detections, you can take that drive root and you can whitelist what you see here so you'll never see it again. So I can whitelist the Windows directory and I'll never see it again. Because you know the entire point to dFunk is to delete what you know is bad automatically before you even look at the results. Then whitelist what you already know is good and exclude that from the results. So essentially, you're left with only seeing what you don't know. So that's the entire point. If you know everything's good, then you're on a clean system. You can go ahead and whitelist it. That way you'll never see any of that stuff again the next time you run dFunk on a funked up system. Because again, that's the entire point. You only need to see what is unknown, with the known good items and the known bad items out of your way before you even look at it. And of course that means the longer you use dFunk, the more definitions you build up, the less you ever have to look at. And the quicker you'll get through a cleanup with dFunk. So now I'm going to move down. We've got user profile. This is going to show you every directory and every file in your user profile folder. You can of course utilize the blacklist and the whitelist items here as well. So I know these are good directories, so you can just select those and whitelist them, and now we're down to what's left, and you'll never see those again. We've even got downloads. Yeah, it's going to search all the users' download folders on all user accounts and show you what they've been into right here. Now this is a good place to use your filter. The filter is really going to save you in an area like this. We've also got desktop, which is going to show you every file, every shortcut, or even every directory that's on the desktop of all user profiles all in one window. We've got the startup folders from the start menu to show you what shortcuts are in there. Now we've also got start menu root. Start menu root is going to show you all directories and files in the start menu. Again, whitelisting and blacklisting here work very well. Start menu shortcuts. This will actually show you every shortcut or any other file in the start menu. It's probably not necessary, but I threw it in there because I had the root. Next we have app data and program data directories and files, which you'll see are split to two different categories. And I've done the same thing with program files directories and program files below that. This, of course, is going to scan the app data folder of every user profile on the system, but it's also going to scan the program data folder on Vista Plus. On XP, it will scan the all users app data folder, which was used in place of that. And note that this only does directories. Again, whitelisting, blacklisting work well. App data, program data, files. When you click on this, you're prompted for a file mask. You can actually enter in a file mask, select one from the list, and just hit enter, and you're on your way to finding every executable in DLL in program files. And of course you did see the status bar zip by there twice. That's because it scans not only the program files directory, but of course the program files x86 directory on 64-bit systems. Much like the Windows System 32 folder scan up here, will also scan the syswal64 directory. Again, with program files, whitelisting and blacklisting work well, especially with a lot of junk software. Not so much with the malware does blacklisting work well, but with the junk software, it can be a lifesaver by going ahead and deleting all that junk for you that you know you don't want there. So that's what's really new with dFunk as opposed to the old Malware Scan. We still have our registry locations. Some of them have been combined and they've been described a little bit better. We still have our common registry hijacks. We have your alternate data stream search if you want to search for those, NTFS junction search, and a quick look at your host file if you want to take a look at that. I'll just reiterate that with the file system, the registry inspection, and all of the others, this will, of course, operate on whichever partition you point this to and click this button to confirm it. That does mean that in the registry inspection, of course, software hives for each user and for the system are loaded into the registry so dFunk can scan those as well. And I think that about wraps it up for what I'm going to show you with dFunk. I hope you're about as excited as I am, because this old project really needed some new life. And some of the things I've added, particularly the directory scans, should go a long way to saving you a lot of time when you're cleaning up on a system after a removal. Look for dFunk out in the near future. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.